Hello and welcome to the Pup Mommy, where it's all about the pups. They come first. In this video today, I'm going to talk about pet insurance. And I've had pet insurance for about the last 19 years, and I'd like to acquaint you with it and help you determine whether or not it's right for you, and you may or may not need it. So let's get started. This video is being made during the holiday season of 2020, and as with any holiday season, people will gift their children, themselves, and others with puppies or other pets. And unless you have eyes 360 degrees around your head, those puppies and those new pets are bound to get into something. And while I'm on the subject of puppies, I have an 8-part video series called To Puppy or Not to Puppy. And in that series is a specific video called Is Your Home Puppy Proof? I urge you to check that out because, again, this is the season where we have all sorts of little pumpkins coming into our home. The question is, do you need pet insurance? Well, pet insurance, at least from my perspective, is very much like auto insurance and home insurance. It's there if you have a catastrophe. Other times people will have pet insurance simply because there are so many different plans out there. It helps with vaccinations, it helps with wellness, it helps with other costs. And of course the costs are balanced out against some of the premiums that you're going to pay. I have a number of friends who decided that rather than pay the premiums for pet insurance, what they would rather do is put that monthly amount into like what I would call a vet fund, similar to a college fund. And if that's something that you want to do, that's all well and good. But I will say this, given what the costs are when you run into a major medical bill for your pups, if you're thinking you're going to maybe put $20 a month or $30 or $50 a month into one of those funds, be prepared for the fact that you might have to add a little bit more than that. In fact, if you check out what some of the premiums are on some of the plans that pet insurance offers, that actually is the amount you probably should be putting into that special vet fund, because when you run into a major medical catastrophe, and by that I mean anything from a dog getting hit by a car, accidentally, puppy swallows a tennis ball, mine swallowed a nylon stocking, other things that puppies and other dogs can swallow. You're talking about intestinal surgery, stomach surgery, and those can be $3,000–$4,000. I kid you not. Local vet clinics that you can go to, if something like this happens to your pup, they can do x-rays and they can do surgery, but that's still going to be several thousands of dollars. Now, earlier this year, in January of this year actually, my lab retriever mix Noel got into a couple of pet toys, and unfortunately I lost him on the operating table. The doctor couldn't save him. But I still got stuck with I shouldn't say stuck, I made the decision for him to have the surgery. And of course, did I have pet insurance? Well, I had pet insurance. But being a 4-dog household, and at the time that I had Noel, I was a 5-dog household, I decided that I had to look at my budget, and so I decided to stop the pet insurance on my 2 German Shepherds, who at that time were 12 years old, and also to stop the pet insurance on Noel, who at that time I believe was 7½. And much to my sorrow, I probably should not have done that. But anyway, I tried to medically manage Noel's issue because we knew that at the time it was sort of what the x-rays were showing was a sort of an elongated mass, but we were hoping that medical management could help it pass through. And then of course when the surgery happened, I gave permission for that surgery. And as I said, the doctor could not save him. It was something that was entwined in his stomach and intestines, and it was just peritonitis was already setting in. It can set in very, very quickly, I warn you. And between the medical management bill of my regular vet and the emergency vet, my cost for that surgery and for Noelle's entire illness was close to $5,000. And if I had had pet insurance and not said canceled my policy, I probably would have gotten back probably somewhere around $3,000 to $3,500. So that would have been a nice chunk of change to have. When I talk about major catastrophes also, I'm also thinking about when a dog has a torn ACL, when a dog has tumors, cancer, intervertebral disc disease, brain tumors. And I happen to mention all of these simply because I've been through them and I've experienced them. And having had that pet insurance over the course of the 19 years, it has helped me a great deal. And so that's why I'm bringing up the subject to you. Now, on the screen, what you're seeing here is a reimbursement for my Boston Terrier Chipper. In this particular instance, this was toward the end of Chipper's life. Chipper was actually a mast cell tumor magnet. And one of the smartest things that I ever did was with this particular insurance company, I took out a policy and added a cancer rider to it. And what you're seeing now on screen is actually, I had Chipper in for an eye injury at my local vet. And while they were examining him, they heard a heart murmur. So they sent me to the regional animal hospital, which also has a file that thick on me. And that heart murmur turned into a benign chemodectoma, which is a heart tumor. So besides the eye injury that I had to have non-invasive eye surgery for, we also had the echocardiogram. We also had what finally took my Boston's life was a cancerous brain tumor. That also was an MRI. And when you think about some of these tests, echocardiogram, MRI, ultrasound, all of these diagnostic tests are specialty tests that are done at these specialty vet clinics. And so many of these diagnostic tests, they start at like $1,000. So you're talking about some pretty hefty expenses here. One of the things I will also mention to you about if you decide to scope out pet insurance, I'm going to leave a link for you to the pet insurance company that I use. The company's name is Nationwide. They started out as veterinary pet insurance about 19 years ago. And I first heard about them because my company offered MetLife insurance, and there was some type of collaborative agreement between MetLife and veterinary pet insurance, which then later was bought out by Nationwide. I think Nationwide is the largest pet insurance company in the United States, but there are so many of them out there. I will leave a link. I'm not necessarily recommending them. I'm not recommending them, but it will help you get an idea as to what pet insurance is all about. And also it gives you some ideas as to the different plans that they have, as well as what is covered, what is not covered. And I will tell you this from experience too. There was a time when I was with Nationwide, at that time VPI, early on, and I had a little Boston Terrier, Spunky. And Spunky, his breeder used to tell me he's on a mission to kill himself, and long story short, he did. That's another story for another time. But I had Spunky in for a gastrosurgery, and I decided that, I'm going to try something other than VPI. So I went to, I think it was AKC or it was ASPCA. The insurance company then at that time was Crum and Forster. So that insurance company paid for Spunky's gastrosurgery. And I think it was about 2 months later, darn it, Spunky got into something else. I think it was 2 months, 3 months, something else. I was forever taking stuff out of his mouth. Well, went back, had another surgery, and of course, this time the insurance company wouldn't pay for it. They told me it's a behavioral issue. Now, if I had been with my original insurance company, which I went back to, they would have picked up the cost. So keep in mind that when you are looking at different insurance companies, the insurance companies are different in what they will cover, what they will pay for. So read the fine print. Now, another thing that you should be aware of is as you're scoping out pet insurance is based on not only the breed of dog that you have or mixed breed, the age of the dog, but also the location of where you live. Because the state insurance laws are different, believe it or not. I mean, it's all political, but you know, what they'll pay in Illinois, they may not pay in Texas. What they pay in Texas, they may not pay in Virginia. Another factor to consider too is, in my particular situation with Nationwide, how the reimbursements are paid. Reimbursements in my particular case are based on regional zip code area. And so I am lumped together where I live with a number of other zip codes, let's say in, I don't know, it could be a 50-mile radius of where I live. So what happens is this: when you go to your clinic, and let's say you're paying $200 for a procedure, 50 miles away, that same procedure at another vet clinic may cost $145. So what happens is all of the zip codes are lumped together, and the costs for different procedures, different surgeries, different exams, different x-rays, they're all averaged out. And then after they're averaged out, the reimbursement then pays a percentage of that average. So just because you're paying $200 for a procedure doesn't mean you're going to get 90% of $200. If the average is $160, you'll get 90% of $160. So this is something else to be aware of as you're looking at different insurance plans. Now, regarding premiums are, of course, based on the dog's age, and as the dog ages, those premiums are going to go up. And see, this is also too what I mentioned earlier on about why I stopped the insurance. With my 2 German Shepherds at age 12, if something had happened to them, I hate saying this, but it's true. It's like at 12 years old, especially for a Shepherd, where, you know, they can live to be 12 years old or 14 years old or somewhere in that particular area. I felt that if anything major happened, you know, it was almost like, okay, Zarina, Olympia, you've had a good life. There just has to reach a point where when you're dealing with your pups, it's your head, your heart, and it's your bank account as well. If you're also thinking about pet insurance, make sure that you read the fine print. Make sure that you know exactly what is covered, because some insurance carriers will not cover everything. There are hereditary diseases that are common among St. Bernards or German Shepherds or Golden Retrievers or Weimaraners or Doberman Pinschers or whatever, and sometimes those particular genetic diseases may not be covered. Do you need pet insurance or don't you need pet insurance? It's a deeply personal decision, because sometimes you're on a fixed income, sometimes you have children, you have other expenses, and you know, for the most part, I have really been quite lucky in terms of my dog's health, but at the same time, I sometimes, you know, I can go to the vet clinic. You know, at one time when I had my little Chipper and Poco, Chipper and Poco were both Boston Terriers. I lost my Boston Terrier Poco to meningoencephalitis, which was a brain tumor, a form of brain cancer. I lost Chipper, as I said earlier, to glioma, another brain tumor. And he also was a mast cell tumor magnet. I don't know whether God gives me these dogs because he knows I'm going to take care of them. I'm not sure, but sometimes I will drive to the vet clinic and I see people walking their Chihuahua or their Scotty or their Bichon, and I think to myself, you know, you probably go to that clinic once a year for the wellness exam and for all the vaccinations. That's the only time the dog ever sees a vet. And with me, it's always been, you know, emergency. I mean, I've been in emergency at 2:30 in the morning. I've been in emergency on New Year's Eve. It just is, again, it depends on your circumstances. But I will say, from my own personal experience, I have had good luck with pet insurance. I am glad that I have it. It has saved me thousands of dollars, which has more than paid the premiums in return. So it has been a good investment for me. Will it be one for you? Only you can make that determination. So I hope that I've helped you somewhat. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe button, because I'll be uploading additional videos on a number of different topics for whether you're a new pet owner, a wannabe pet owner, or whether you are an experienced pet owner. So thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.